Alright, so by now we've all had a chance to digest what was one of the biggest trades in NBA history, if not the biggest trade in NBA history. And while I'm sure some are probably tired of hearing about it and how it's the most stunning trade the league has ever seen and how this will go down as one of the worst trades in league history, for the Mavs that is. But as more and more reports come out about this deal, the more we've learned about it, the more and more bizarre this trade looks. And rather than calling this the biggest or most shocking trade of all time, I would argue that it is the most suspicious trade of all time. A trade that starts to raise some serious questions about the legitimacy of the deal, and I'm here to talk about it further. So of course, as always, if you like this type of content, then be sure to subscribe, as we are nearing 100,000 subscribers and would be incredible if we could get there by the end of the season. Really appreciate all the love and support. Before I continue on with the video, a quick word from our partners over at DraftKings. Super Bowl 59 is right around the corner, and it's the perfect time to get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, they're giving all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. Yes, you heard that right, $200 in bonus bets. This is your shot to make every last play a moment to be remembered. Download the DraftKings app now and sign up using promo code AM1Hoops. The crown is yours. You can use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings Sportsbook for Super Bowl 59, or you can try same game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. You can bet live on in-progress games, and guess what? If sports betting isn't available where you live, don't worry, you can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have the shot to win cash prizes. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code AM1Hoops and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code AM1Hoops only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, of course, when this trade first broke, everyone thought it wasn't real. We thought Shams had been hacked or we didn't read into it correctly. Like literally, I had to read that first tweet 3 times to ensure I was reading it correctly, and even then I still didn't believe it because it was so rare, not even rare, but something that never happens where a franchise trades their franchise player, a superstar, a top 5 player in the league at the age of 25, especially when they don't ask out or request a trade, or they don't give any indication that they didn't want to sign with the franchise long term, which for the record, some thought, hey, maybe that was actually the case with Luka. No, Mavs GM Nico Harrison confirmed in a press conference that Luka did not request a trade, nor had he given any indication that he wouldn't sign with the team long term. So the fact that the Mavs chose to go that route of no longer wanting to have Luka Doncic on their team and trade their franchise player in the peak of his prime is bizarre in and of itself. But what makes the whole thing more odd is that the team they executed the trade with in the Lakers and the little amount they got in return in the deal. Because let's say for a minute, all right, the Mavs no longer believed in Luka as their franchise player that would be able to get them a title or multiple titles, that they were over his lazy defense, which we all know his defense is exceptionally bad, that they were worried about his overall conditioning, his overall motivation, and that there were growing frustrations between him and the players complaining to the refs all the time and not getting back in transition. Fine. I don't necessarily agree with it, but fine. There are flaws to Luka Doncic as a player, but even if that was the case, and you said, all right, rather than kicking the can down the road, let's trade him now while his value is at his peak as a top player in the NBA. Rather than opening up a bidding war and getting a plethora of offers from teams throughout the NBA, the Mavs instead chose to go to the Lakers and Lakers only, and they worked out a deal in isolation centered around a 32-year-old Anthony Davis and a first-round pick in 2029. Mikal Bridges got the Nets 5 first-round picks. Rudy Gobert got the Jazz 4 first-round picks. 5, really, if you want to include Walker Kessler since he had just been drafted at the time of the trade. Donovan Mitchell, DeJounte Murray, players who all garnered multiple first-round picks in their recent trade deals. And you move Luka Doncic, who is a much bigger name, is on another tier over all of those other players, and you got 1 first-round pick and an aging Anthony Davis, which no disrespect to AD. He's been incredible the last couple of seasons and has been actually able to stay healthy, which is saying something for Anthony Davis, but he's on the wrong side of 30. You're talking 2, 3 max peak years left of AD playing at this level. And you gave up your 25-year-old franchise player because you believe defense wins championships. And you added a 32-year-old Anthony Davis to an already 32-year-old Kyrie Irving, who is soon to be 33. A declining Klay Thompson as well. Like, what is the goal here? And look, even if you did in fact feel that way, that you wanted to add some strong defensive-minded players, and you wanted out of the Luka Doncic business, why would you not contact multiple teams to see what the best offer would be for Luka? Why would you not contact the Celtics, the Bucks, the Heat? Hell, see what the Knicks are willing to offer. Instead, you covet Anthony Davis, and you're okay with a first-round pick? I'm just not buying it. I feel like there has to be something else going on behind the scenes. And look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any means, whether it comes to the NBA politics or whatever, but when you choose to only go to one team, that team being the biggest and most popular franchise in the league, a global brand, and you receive so little in return for a mega star, to me, that has collusion written all over it. Because I'm not buying the Mavs were concerned about his weight, and the Lakers were as well, and that's why they had to accept less than what was optimal. Because executives around the league, when they first heard the trade break, they were shocked. They had no idea Luka was available. And you had one GM say they would have been willing to give up quote-unquote everything in order to get Luka. So to me, this boils down to a few things. Either there was some kind of side deal going on, or some kind of handshake agreement where the Lakers ownership said to the Mavs new owners, you give us Luka, and we'll hook you up with some kind of payment under the table that will enable you to move this franchise to Las Vegas and get Cuban to sell off the rest of his ownership stake. Or, and again, I do find this very hard to believe and think it's very unlikely, but I'm just struggling to wrap my head around why any of this makes sense. But the NBA pushed for this to get one of the biggest faces of the league, a future face of the league with guys like LeBron and Steph soon to be heading off into retirement, to get one of the biggest names and a global icon internationally on one of the most historic franchises and the league's cash cow of a team being the Lakers. And of course, I have no proof or basis to back any of this up. This is all speculation, but I just cannot for the life of me figure out why the Mavs would do this and not at a minimum reach out to a couple of other teams to see what kind of offers they could get and see, maybe we can get something better than just Anthony Davis in a first round pick. You know, just maybe we might be able to get something better than that for a future superstar in his prime. The only thing I could possibly think of, which still doesn't explain why they would only go to the Lakers, but there was some major internal organizational issues with the Mavs and Luka that they're keeping private, and it got so bad to the point where they felt they had to do this and act on it quickly without reaching out to other teams to get additional offers. But I mean, that's just poor management and bad business if that ended up being the case. I mean, Nico Harrison, who has decided to take full responsibility and accountability, saying it was his sole decision, man didn't even inform Jason Kidd of this or give him a heads up. Nico Harrison is making any GM around the league look great right now with this massive fumble of a deal. I refuse to accept that a GM at the highest level in this game would be this incompetent. That's why I feel there has to be something else going on behind the scenes. But to be honest, something we'll probably never know, especially if it was orchestrated by the NBA itself, because they're not going to investigate themselves if that is in fact the case. Anyway, I would love to hear what you guys think though. You let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.